All right, good morning, traders. Today is January 29th, 2025. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in digital and cyberland. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for the kind comments. Hope you find value in my content. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning is 603.24. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five, except for Diamond Dow, still in daily uptrends. SPY, Diamond Dow, FNGU made higher highs and higher lows, closing over their traps, over their 17 EMAs. QQQ did almost the same thing, made a higher high and a higher low, closing under a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. IWM made a lower low and a lower high, closing inside a bullish trap, but over the 17. Gold's in a daily uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Silver, on the opposite side, is in a downtrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap over the 17 EMA. UNG and USO both in daily uptrends. UNG made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. USO made an inside day, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index started a downtrend, closed near the 107.88 area. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. All right, for charts today, what do we got? We got SPY. Okay, you can see right here on the 10-minute, we had a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Then we got a little consolidation over prior consolidation, possibly bullish environment right there. All right, we'll see what happens with that. For the 10-minute downtrend, again, we just need kind of continuation for that downtrend to work out. Okay, so looking for another red candle. Preferably like to get below, well, this area right here. Okay, 603.04. We'll see. All right, now I know on the SPY game plan I have, because I don't know what's going to happen in the pre-market, my SPY game plan bearish entry is below all of these tails down here. If we break those tails, I think we're coming all the way down here to retest the lows. We'll see what happens, all right? So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 2-hour. On the 2-hour, we got a 2-hour uptrend. Notice candle action, all right? Little 3 EMA over the 8 EMA and the 17 and the VWAP there, okay? So there's 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute downtrend. On the daily chart, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, so kind of making our way back up towards the all-time high up here that we just made on Friday. Today's Wednesday. Just think about it. About 3 trading days ago, we were up at the all-time highs. Okay, so there's there's SPY. Okay, in a daily uptrend, in a weekly uptrend, in a 2-day uptrend, in a monthly uptrend, in a semi-annual uptrend. No matter how you want to spin it, we're in an uptrend, except for that 10-minute there. All right, let's go take a look at QQQ. Then we'll come back and hit the game plan. I forgot to mention the game plan. All right, QQQ. Higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap. All right. But over the 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so there's QQQ. Let's hit the game plan. Let's flip to the 5, actually the 10, maybe the 15. All right, a little back out here. Okay, QQQ game plan. Here's the pivot. This is where price action came up to yesterday and bounced away, and then we got up on top of it and bounced higher. So somewhere in between here, I got my pivot, 519.81. Okay, if the bulls come back up here over these highs, see that brick of candles? You got about 1, 2, 3 on the 15-minute chart. 4 15-minute candles up there, kind of forming a brick. If we get over that, I want to be a bull. All right, and the next target up is going to be like gap fill right up there. Actually, right here would be first 528.20, and then up to here 529.77. Okay, that would be my targets. All right, so there's QQQ again, price over the brick. All right, and the brick is 522.94. So basically over 523. It's going to be my bullish entry. All right, and I'd have to put my stop underneath this red candle over here. We'll see what happens. All right, so underneath the red candle would be my stop, and for price to get up over this brick and hold that area, that's where I'd look for my next move higher. Okay, on the bearish down here underneath the tails. All right, so there's QQQ on the 15 minutes. Take a look at SPY, and we'll move on to some of the other indexes. All right, SPY kind of got the same program going on. Pivot 603.24. Okay, so price action up over the brick right there. They got the same brick. 605.31. That's a bullish entry. On the bearish side, underneath all of the tails down here, 601.20. All right, so there's on the 15-minute SPY game plan. All right, so underneath, this is supposed to say 601.20. That's my bearish green erases, red erases green. Okay, got to fix that. All right, so over 605.31, underneath 601.20. Okay, those are my entries on the bearish and bullish side. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at IWM and pull it up on the daily chart, see what we got going on here. Price action for yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over flat 17 EMA, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, no longer in the upper third, trying to regain that upper third, but on the bullish side of neutrality here. Okay, so still underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. So price action still in an uptrend. All right, because they took out this high. If they take out this low, they'll be in a downtrend. There's IWM. Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow still in a downtrend, but having a nice pullback. Let me just say, it's just a label, but if they happen to breach these highs up here, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Price action for yesterday is a higher low and a higher high. They're getting there. All right, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, up in quadrant 4. Even though they're in a downtrend, they are moving higher right now. We'll see if they'll take out that all-time high. So there's Diamond Dow. We just did IWM. Next one, FNGU. FNGU, nice candle on FNGU, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over a rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, above the uptrend line, above the downtrend line. Everything looking good on FNGU. Just needs some continuation with that big candle there. That's what we're looking for today. We'll see if we can get it. There's the daily chart, FNGU, in an uptrend right there. Okay, let's go take a look at our technicals. T2122, we did put in a lower high and a lower low, and we kind of melted down into the buyer's chop zone, and then we kind of bounced out of there and made a couple of higher lows here, and then found ourselves back in the buy zone, making the bears uncomfortable up there. Okay, so we'll see what we get from this morning here. So there's the buyer's chop zone, kind of melted into it and kind of bounced back out. We'll see what happens. T2123, all right, a lot of gap up. All right, gap up, go up and hold. All right, little gap up again, go up and hold. This is bullish. Consolidation over prior consolidation is bullish. Notice the bears didn't fill the gap. Notice the bears didn't fill the gap. Notice the bears didn't fill the gap. Okay, price action up over the hooking or rising 200 SMA there, up over a prior all-time high right there. Not the all-time high, just the prior all-time high. So there's T2123 on the 15-minute chart, keeping that space open over that rising 200. Let's take a look at the 3-bar. 3 more green candle bars there, up over the rising 17 EMA right there, closing in the space between that flat 200 and the candle price action here. Okay, so maybe they can go up there and spike that before going high. I like to see them spike it, pull back to support, which would probably be right along this, right on the top of that consolidation there, and then J-hook off of it, back up through it, get on the other side. That would be nice. That's T2123. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU fell out of bed on Monday. Here's Tuesday's price action. You can see green. All right, they ended the day with a little 15-minute uptrend. You can see they made a green candle there at the end of Monday, and then they just followed through with that uptrend all day yesterday, climbing back up over VWAP. Nice move. Getting back up here to the consolidation area. Let me get my drawing tools out if I can find them. They're here somewhere. Here we go. All right, so got a little consolidation right through there, climbing back up to that consolidation. That's bullish. All right, coming down and coming all the way back up like that, like almost 100% retracement. That is bullish. Price action closing over the rising 200 SMA, that's good. Closing over the 17, that's good. Again, closing over the downtrend line, closing over the uptrend line. Everything looking good on FNGU, all right? It's pretty close to taking out those all-time highs. We'll see what happens. Got some earnings coming in, so we'll see what they want to do. All right, let's go take a look at a few sectors. Let's start off with energy. All right, we'll start off with XLE. All right, XLE kind of a little different here. Got like a 30-day, 20-day pullback there or drop down. Okay, notice they went up, then they gave it all up. See that? They went up, then they gave it all up. It's just kind of neutral right there. All right, so they were in this downtrend. They got themselves in the downtrend by taking out that low and that low and that low right there. Got themselves in a downtrend, okay? But they didn't put in any lower highs, okay? So they're still in the downtrend. They're just in the midst of this pullback in the downtrend. Now, it looks to me like they set a little higher low here. There'll be pressure on the bears to produce another lower low, all right? But I really think that's kind of quite bullish. I think they may J-hook off of support. Where they find support could be right around this area, 87.71. That's a possibility. And then again, they may visit the lows again. We'll see what they want to do. XLE, technically in a downtrend. It's just a label, all right? And they're moving down again, all right? So we got about 7-8 days there of pullback from this move up there, okay? Notice they're still underneath this downtrend line and still underneath this downtrend line, okay? Where they closed yesterday, just on the bullish side of neutrality right here, okay? Again, remember, they went up and they gave it all up, all right? And maybe a little bit more, okay? So that's just neutral. Leaning a little bearish, if you ask me, because they went up and they gave it all up and more. But if they get up here and start to hold and consolidate, that will be looking nice for XLE. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG, USO, both in uptrends, all right? If UNG, see this little wick, the tail down there? If they take out that tail, they're going to be in a downtrend, all right? Right now, they're making higher lows and higher highs. Price action for UNG yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, and they are on the bearish side of neutrality right here. So they went up and gave a little bit of it up right there. So there's UNG. This is my buy box right here. So price is in the buy box. Wait for the bulls to step in and show you something that's maybe bullish engulfing before you jump the gun. All right, so there's UNG. Unless you want to just start nibbling now in anticipation of this support holding. I'm expecting price to come down to this peak between the two valleys. All right, that's what I'm expecting. Usually likes to go there anyway, so we got to move down and a move up, and then another move down and a move up. So we got two valleys, one here, one here. Okay, so they usually like to come to this location right there. So we'll see what happens, all right? See what happens. We're in the buy box right now. So there's a daily chart. Still in an uptrend, UNG, but on the bearish side of neutrality, that's the dash line for the quads right there. Let's take a look at USO. And I'm going to fix that. There we go. USO. USO also in an uptrend. USO, in order to negate the uptrend, has to take out this low right here. Okay? Because that's where they started it all. Jeez, they didn't want that. All right, so this low right here. All right, because they didn't put any like lows down here under the 17. So they got to take out that low. All right, in order to negate the downtrend. And negate the uptrend. All right, so they're currently in an uptrend. Just pulling back right now. So USO on the daily chart yesterday is an inside day, which is a lower high and a higher low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. So there's USO in an uptrend. Notice USO up here in the upper third. That's bullish. All right, they were up there in the upper quadrant. They were bullish for a while, but they gave it up. Again, they went up and then they gave it up, but they're pulling back to where they ignited from right here. Okay, so there's USO, still bullish right there. Again, in the upper third. All right, so let's take a look at a few sectors. We'll start. No, let's hit precious metals. SLV in a downtrend. Okay, they took out this low right here. So SLV in a downtrend. Price action for SLV is, zoom in here, is, pretty sure I got that printed. High is 27.74. High is 27.76. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bearish trap over the 17 EMA, but under that 12-year high anchored VWAP right there. So we'll see what happens with that. Currently in a downtrend on the bearish side of neutrality. All right, so notice they went up and they gave it up. So that's just kind of neutral right there. All right, if they could climb on top of that 12-year high anchored VWAP, they might get something going. But a lot of consolidation right through here underneath the midpoint. We'll see what happens. All right, kind of bearish side of neutrality there. Not too looking too good for SLV. GLD is quite the opposite. You can see on Monday, they almost took out the all-time high. Price action for GLD, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, up here in quadrant 4. Gold is looking primed to go higher, maybe like 300. All right, let's get to 280 first and then 300. All right, gold looking really good here, really strong. Up here, leaning on the top side of quadrant 4. That is super bullish right there. So there's gold on the daily chart. Definitely in an uptrend for gold. Okay, let's take a look at SMH. SMH's in a downtrend. They got themselves in a downtrend, taking out this low right here. Price action, I didn't like that candle this morning. I wanted to see some more green going up. Anyways, price action for yesterday is a lower low and a lower high, closing underneath bearish trap, underneath all-time high anchored VWAP. No longer bullish in the upper third. All right, just kind of neutral bullish up here on the bullish side of neutrality right there for SMH. Let's take a look at XLK. Remember, XLK on Monday made a new all-time high. This is crazy. XLK still in an uptrend. Had they taken out this low, they'd be in a downtrend. Price action yesterday, nice candle. Higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17, under the prior all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, up there in quadrant 4, that is bullish up there for XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. XLF still in an uptrend, really close, maybe pennies yesterday from making a new all-time high in XLF. See that up there? A little doji pause candle. Well, you know, if we break that, we're going to have a new all-time high if we break up over that doji. All right, so there's XLF yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP at the very top of quadrant 4. That is bullish. All right, let's take a look at XLI. Here's our industrials. Industrials are still in a downtrend. All right, I got a feeling they're going to make a lower high and then make a higher low, find some support maybe right through here, and then J-hook back up here, take out that high. Whether they make new all-time highs, I don't know. All right, it's looking kind of flaky at the time. XLI is our industrial sector. Price action for yesterday, outside day. All right, closing under the bullish trap, over the 17, and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. They are in the upper third. See, they were in the quadrant most of the day. They're in the upper third, so that's the bullish side of price action right there. Hopefully they can find some support somewhere. I don't know if it'll be right here. Notice this valley between the two peaks may provide support for XLI. We'll see what happens, all right? Currently showing a head and shoulders pattern. This being the head, very shallow head. Okay, left shoulder, right shoulder. See what happens. So there's the daily chart on XLI. Take a look at XLUs, our utilities. This is a defensive sector. It is in an uptrend unless they take out this low. Then they will negate the uptrend and convert the downtrend. They got themselves in the uptrend by taking out this high over the 17. Price action for yesterday, another inside day, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap underneath the 17 and underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP there, okay? But on the bullish side of neutrality, okay? They were bullish up here, couldn't quite hold on to it. They went up and gave it up. So just kind of neutral right now on XLU, all right? Let's take a look at XRT. It's the retail sector. Retail sector making a comeback. They're still in an uptrend, even with this 30, 40 days of pullback here. Okay, so they're still in the uptrend. They didn't take out the low. All right, so still in an uptrend. On the daily chart, price action for yesterday is outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17, still up over the uptrend line, closing in the upper third. That's bullish right there. Got to remember they went up and they gave nearly almost all of it up right there. That would be neutral. Okay, when you give it up and more, that's bearish. When you go up and you give it up, that's just neutral. All right, but they've come back and instead of, they found they're fighting their way back to the upper third, maybe even quadrant 4. Keep an eye on Amazon. XRT, retail sector. Last one, all right, then we're going to hit the economic package, IYT. All right, IYT put this funky candle in here, but here's where it is between these two green lines. All right, IYT is in an uptrend. All right, because they made a higher low and they took out that high and made a higher high. Okay, so price action actually is in between this, so that would make it an inside day yesterday. All right, that's a lower high and a higher low, closing over probably in a bullish trap over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in quadrant 4, all of that is bullish for IYT. Transports looking bullish. Now this is kind of good because we've got transports in an uptrend, almost making new all-time highs. We've got not transports. I meant financials. Financials in an uptrend, almost making new all-time highs. Okay, we've got transports up in quadrant 4 in an uptrend, closing in on the all-time high. All right, and what else do we got? We got technology, which just made a new all-time high on Monday. Semiconductors, not so much. Technology still in an uptrend, up in quadrant 4. They're looking good. So we could have a robust rally. All right, so maybe the top is not in yet. All right, just saying it. We've got a really bullish financials. We've got really bullish on the transports. And technology just made a new all-time high. Semiconductors are in a downtrend, but they're not far away from the bullish quadrant. All right, they still are on the bullish side of neutrality. We'll see what happens. All right, things are looking good, and we got some earnings coming in. Let's go take a look at our economic package. All right, so here's a pullback low right here. We made a lower low that puts the dollar in a downtrend. Price action for the dollar closed yesterday near about 107.88 area right there. Okay, so kind of bull flagging, but in a downtrend right there, breaking below all of this flag right here. We'll see what happens with that. Earnings reports. That's going to be a long, winded explanation there. I'm just going to go hit some of the other stuff. All right. So Max Payne for today. Let's get the right one up here. Come on. Refresh. 603.95 is 603 is Max Payne. We have 1 1/5 puts to each call. Okay. 603. I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to 603. So I don't think there's not enough to do a put squeeze. Max Payne's not far enough away to cause any unrest on Max Payne. All right. On the economic calendar, this is today. Today we have a main event. We also have another main event tomorrow morning. All right, but today we have NBA mortgage applications at 7, international trading goods at 8:30. That's coming out in 2 minutes. Retail inventories also 8:30. Wholesale inventories 8:30. Petroleum report at 10. 2 o'clock, FOMC is going to make an announcement whether they're going to hike or reduce rates. Then they're going to come on at 2:30 and explain how hawkish they're going to be on inflation because they have to do something about inflation. All right, so that's probably what's going to happen. We're going to have a main event at 2 o'clock. We'll see what happens. GDP tomorrow, 8:30. That's another main event tomorrow, okay? GDP measures how much revenue we take in by selling to foreign countries. That's important because in order for us to survive, we have to export our goods and services. All right? And it's kind of hard being in competition with, let me just say, Asia. All right? It's not just China anymore. All of Asia. All right? They have like very low labor and labor cost, and they're able to really outdo us. So we have to be innovative and ahead of them and be smart about it. So it's not easy, all right? So we like GDP over 3. Actually, 2.5 would be nice. 3 to 4 would be better, all right? So we'll see what happens. Jobless claims at 8:30, GDP at 8:30, Pending home sales at 10. Gas report at 10:30. And that's it for Thursday. Okay, 2 big main events this week. On Friday, we got personal income and outlays at 8:30. Employment cost index 8:30. Got a Fed speaker. Bauman's going to speak at 8:30. Chicago PMI 945. A rig count at 1. The rig count at 1 is normal. That's almost every Friday. Let's go take a look at at earnings. See what we got here. On the 29th, that's today, this morning, big tech going to report tonight. Microsoft, 3.2 trillion. All right, that's $1 trillion tonight. Big market cap. They will move the markets. They will whipsaw it around. Meta, $1.6 trillion. They're going to report tonight. Tesla, $1.2 trillion. They're going to report tonight. ServiceNow, $234 billion. They're going to report tonight. IBM, $207 billion. More tech. They're also going to report tonight. Progressive hasn't quite figured out if they want to report or not. Go to page 2, then we're going to come back to all the morning reports. Lam Research, $97 billion. They're going to report tonight, all right? More familiar names, okay? You can see United Rentals, Ameriprise Financials, Norfolk Southern Railroads, General Dynamics right there. That's little defense sector, the NASDAQ, okay? A lot of familiar names here, but they're not going to move the markets like the big boys that are going to report tonight. In the morning, this morning, ASML, got some computer chips going to report. $271 billion they're going to report this morning. T-Mobile Communications, $256 billion they're going to report this morning. Denair, $180 billion. Not sure what they do, but they've been around for a while. Okay, $180 billion. Automatic data processing, $122 billion. They're going to report this morning. Okay, so a little bit of reporting this morning. Big time reporting after FOMC announcement tonight. Tomorrow, we got Apple reporting in the evening. Again, tech usually reports in the evening. $3.6 trillion. That's huge. Visa's going to report in the evening. $623 billion. All right, and some more familiar names here, but let's take a look. MasterCard's going to report tomorrow morning, $500 billion, $223 billion on Thermo Fisher Scientific. Shell Oil, $197 billion. They're going to report tomorrow. Caterpillar, $188 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. $143 billion on Comcast Communications. Blackstone, $133 billion. I'm not sure what Blackstone does, all right? I know BlackRock does financials. Not sure about Blackstone. Sanofi Advantis, all right, little pharmaceuticals there. $133 billion, going to report tomorrow morning. UPS, there's some transports, $115 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. And let's see, Marsh McClellan, $108 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. And Clack, they're going to report tomorrow evening for Friday. Let's see what we got for Friday. Come on. All right, Friday in the morning, got ExxonMobil, AbbVie Pharmaceuticals, Chevron Oil Corporation, $282 billion. Novartis, more pharmaceuticals, $211 billion. Eaton Corporation, they do building materials. Basically, they put in breaker boxes, all right, and breakers for electric, all right. $123 billion. Aon, $81 billion. Some more familiar names. Grainger does some basic building materials there. All right, some more familiar names, but not really going to move the markets on Monday. Platner, $182 billion. They're going to report in the morning. Mitsubishi does not know if they're going to report. Again, more familiar names. You can see it. Clorox, Tyson, Equity Residential. All right, more familiar names, but not going to move the markets. Not like these boys tonight. All right, so be an exciting night tonight. All right, I'm out of breath. All right, so that's it for right now. I will see you guys in 45 minutes. If you got some questions, drop them in. Thank you, Alan, for sharing. Appreciate that. All right, so I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. We'll kick off the markets. I just want to point out the Qs have consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. The SPY, not so much. So we'll see what's happening there. All right, let's just go take a look at the SPY before I sign off. On the 10-minute, yeah, they're kind of losing it here. See right there, they're coming back. They're actually back here at the pivot right now. See that? 603.24. That's the pivot. Let's see if they find support at the pivot and bounce back up. We've got an hour before we open up, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, they were looking good, consolidating over prior consolidation right here. They seem to have lost it right there. So we may be looking at a buying some puts or selling something today. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see what the Qs are doing. Because they were looking good. See the consolidation over the prior consolidation. That was a bullish environment. They're losing it now. We'll see what happens. All right, see you guys in about 40 minutes. All right, thank you for hanging out with me this morning.